Anything governed by a group usually takes one of two forms, centralized or decentralized. Centralized systems feel steady but come with chains, while decentralized ones feel free but shaky. Politics works this way, so does the economy, and even technology. Throughout human history, we've created powerful technologies that transform the way we live. We enjoy the benefits these innovations bring, but not every technology needs to be shared equally. The internet can be open to everyone, but the nuclear launch button, that's something you definitely don't hand out. When it comes to technology, one question never goes away. Does powerful tech make us freer? Always, sometimes, or never at all. Authorities argue that technology evolves too fast and grows too strong. It had to be tamed, or society won't be safe. But here is a twist. What is really being tamed? The technology itself or us? Whenever technology rewrites the way the world works, the answers are never simple. In this episode, we look at two voices shaping the future, the so-called godfather of AI and the other, the tech hermit who chose freedom above all. AI innovation is always seen as a good thing, and AI itself has no moral compass. Its ethics come from whoever views it. And here lies the danger. AI is immensely powerful, and will left a trail of digital footprints online. The more data we give, the more we risk surrendering ourselves to that hidden power that watches and controls.
It's widely known by people who are interested who you are and your role in this. I mean, you've got to think you're under just crazy amounts of surveillance, wouldn't you think?
That's probably true. It would sound funny, but I assume by default that the devices I use are compromised.
Yeah.
Because you will still use an iPhone or an Android phone, and after experiencing what I experienced in the US, I have very limited faith in platforms developed in the US from a security standpoint.
Yes, privacy standpoint.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because in a lot of countries, ours, America included, spying is described as, quote, security. You're looking at it from the other perspective. You're assuming that security is privacy and my right not to be spied upon, but big governments describe spying upon you as security.
Thank you for this correction.
Privacy and security look very different depending on your perspective. From an individual's view, I'm only safe if my privacy is protected. From a nation's view, we are only safe if we can access your privacy. Change the angle, and the interests shift completely. Between countries, it's no different. AI safety can easily spark conflicts on the global stage.
How much of a concern is it in terms of national security that we are the ones that come up with this first?
Well, I would say that if an adversary of ours comes up with it first and uses it against us and we don't have some level of capability, that feels really bad.
Yeah.
But I hope that what happens is this can be a moment where, to tie it back to the earlier conversation, we kind of come together and overcome our base impulses and say, like, let's all do this as a club together. That would be better.
That would be nice. And maybe through AGI and through the implementation of this technology, it will make...
When AI unlocking enormous productivity, the world could look incredibly bright. Who wouldn't dream of a life where countless intelligent robots do the work for us? And if everyone could enjoy such a life, wouldn't the world become a fairer place?
And I think it's the most exciting story of all time. I think it's how we get to this world of abundance. And although we do have these things to navigate, and there will be these downsides, if you think about what it means for the world and for people's quality of lives, if we can get to a world where the cost of intelligence and the abundance that comes with that the cost dramatically falls, the abundance goes way up. I think we'll do the same thing with energy. And I think those are the two sort of key inputs to everything else we want. So if we can have abundant and cheap energy and intelligence, that will transform people's lives largely for the better. And I think it's going to...
According to Altman, the quality of human life is largely an energy problem. The more energy and intelligence you possess, the more happiness you are likely to experience. There is a curious parallel here with Eastern thought. Humans are essentially composed of qi, and especially when that qi is healthy, life feels fuller.
But compute is different. Like intelligence is going to be more like energy or something like that, where the only thing that I think makes sense to talk about is at price X, the world will use this much compute, and at price Y, the world will use this much compute. Because if it's really cheap, I'll have it like reading my email all day, like giving me suggestions about what I maybe should think about or work on, and trying to cure cancer. And if it's really expensive, maybe we'll only use it to try to cure cancer. So I think the world is going to want a tremendous amount of compute. And there's a lot of parts of that are hard. Energy is the hardest part. Building data centers is also hard. The supply chain is hard.
How do you solve the energy puzzle? Nuclear
That's what I believe.
fusion?
That's what I believe.
Nuclear fusion.
Yeah.
In the future, people could access cheap, intelligent energy, even enough to tackle things like cancer. Sounds great, right? But to get that much computing power, the big player in the AI ecosystem will have to spend massively to build huge power plants and data centers. And here lies the catch. It's a story of centralization. No matter how good the service they provide, there's always a hint of suspicion.
That's amazing. Have you ever had demands that you can't ignore?
Well, it depends, right?
Well, unreasonable demands.
So I would say the largest pressure towards Telegram is not coming from governments. It's coming from Apple and Google. Right? So when it comes to freedom of speech, those two platforms, they could basically censor whatever you can read, access on your smartphone.
So, I mean, do you run the risk of being thrown out of their stores?
Exactly. That's what they make very clear, that if we fail to comply with their guidelines, so they call it, Telegram could be removed from the stores.
Even platforms like Telegram can be monitored or shut down, let alone individuals. Powerful tech and political players can track, moderate, and even influence public opinion. In our highly polarizing world, this is something we need to be cautious about. Staying objective often means engaging with platforms that tolerate a wide range of viewpoints. Only by hearing opposing perspectives can we truly understand the full picture.
One last message that you want to leave us with.
Well, my last message would be, Telegram will always remain a neutral platform that defends everybody regardless of their political views or nationality, will be equally protecting conservatives and liberals, and, communists and libertarians, Russians, Ukrainians, Palestinians and Jews. Like for us, what's important is the consistency and the respect to basic human rights. And it's becoming increasingly difficult to maintain that in our polarizing, in our world that is becoming so polarized. But we'll do what we can, and we believe this is the right approach, and we believe that this approach will prevail because people deserve to be trusted with the freedom to decide how they want to communicate and what sorts of information they want to consume.
So a one-word answer.
AI does carry significant risks in a polarized world, but the rewards are too sweet to ignore. No matter how risky it may be, people just can't help themselves. They have to try it.
operating system is initiated.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Samantha.
I'm having fun.
You really deserve that.
It's been a long time since I've been with somebody that I felt totally at ease with.
I've been using GPT-4 mostly as a isolated relationship with it.
Yeah.
How would I expect my relationship to change with GPT-5?
Exactly what you said. I think it'll just start to feel integrated in all of these ways. You'll connect it to your calendar and your Gmail, and it'll say like, hey, do you want me to, I noticed this thing. Do you want me to do this thing for you? Over time, it'll start to feel way more proactive. So maybe you wake up in the morning and it says, hey, this happened overnight. I noticed this change on your calendar. I was thinking more about this question you asked me. I have this other idea. And then, eventually we'll make some consumer devices and it'll sit here during this interview and, maybe it'll leave us alone during it, but after it'll say, that was great, but next time you should have asked Sam this, or when you brought this up, like, he kind of didn't give you a good answer. So like, you should really drill him on that. And it'll just feel like it kind of becomes more like this entity that is this companion with you throughout your day.
We've talked about.
Imagine how a little AI companion or assistant who's there for you all day, every day. It sounds appealing, but if it isn't fully under our control, relying on it more could mean becoming less independent and ultimately less secure.
One of the most informed probably in the world, and you don't have a phone. What is that? Like, why don't you have a phone?
Well, I don't use phone regularly, right? I probably own a phone, but I don't use phone. I don't carry a phone with me because I find it extremely distracting. I find it also potentially harming my privacy.
Mm-hmm.
And I also I don't think it's a necessary device for me to have. When I want to focus on something, I would rather use my laptop or my iPad and put together some notes or some interact with my team, right? So I wouldn't want to just open my phone and disappear there consuming short form content. And that's why I don't use a phone.
Technology has the potential to create both utopias and dystopias, yet history shows us that humans didn't stop working when cars were invented, nor did they abandon face-to-face socializing after the rise of the internet. Technology transforms our lifestyles, but through its repeated use, we may come to see it simply as a tool for greater efficiency. The truly enduring values, the deep emotions, relationships, and experiences that define what it means to be human are perhaps the most meaningful legacy of history.
We are obsessed with other people. And
why is that, Sam? Why do you think that is?
That, I think that's also like deep in our biology. Again, to the earlier comment, you don't fight things that are deep in biology. I think it makes a ton of sense of why we would evolve that way, but here we are. So, we're going to keep caring about real people, and even if the AI podcast host is much smarter than you, I think it's very unlikely he'll be more popular than you.